Write equations in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. The m stands for the slope, the b stands for the y-intercept. Mainly what you have to remember is that to write an equation of a line, I need a point and a slope. And that is the key to remember. All right, so here are the steps. I'll go through them quickly and then I'll show you an example where I describe each one. Step 1, find the slope. Step 2, substitute the point in the slope into y equals mx plus b. You solve for b, and then you use that to use the slope and the y-intercept to write the final equation in slope-intercept form right there. And then step 4 talks about checking. There are multiple ways to check. I listed 3. Example. Write an equation of a line that passes through the point -2, 5 and has a slope of 3. So I'm going to go through the steps so you can see how you should go through a problem like this. All right, so remember, we need a point and we need a slope. Step 1 is to find the slope. Lucky for us, it is given. Okay, it's given in the directions. So nothing to do there, just write it. M equals 3, M stands for slope. All right, next. We're going to substitute the slope M and one point, xy, and we only have one point to choose from, into the formula for y equals mx plus b. Then we're going to solve for b to find the y-intercept. All right, so I'm going to label, here's the formula first, and I'm going to label the x and the y. So you can see that up here. All right, so now we substitute the x and the y and the slope. And if your b looks too much like a 6, one of the options is you could always just use a uppercase b. That's fine. Your call. All right, now we just have to solve. So solve the equation for b. 3 times -2 is -6. I need to get b by itself, so we add 6 to both sides, and we get that b equals 11. All right, so that is not the final answer, but it is important, so maybe it's worth underlining. Next step, write your answer in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we pull two things. We need the slope, which is right here, and we need the y-intercept. And that's our answer, y equals 3x plus 11. And you can go ahead and box that so that it's clear that that's the final answer. Step 4. All right, we can check our answer by using a few methods. We could substitute x and y. We can substitute just the x. We can use graphing calculator or graphing program. I'm going to go with substitution. So I'm given, you can see that the 3 right here is the slope. So we satisfied that aspect of it. Put a check mark right there. All right, now does it hit the point -2, 5? All right, I'm going to substitute 5, and I have 3 times -2 plus 11, so I get -6 plus 11, 5 equals 5. Checks off. So that verifies that it hits that point, and we have a slope of 3, so our answer, which is right here, is good. All right, now what about if you're not given the slope? Here, we have to write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through the points -7, 9 and -5, -3. Remember, step 1 is to find the slope. So we're going to use the slope formula. If you have a graph, you can use rise over run. But slope formula shouldn't be too bad. So we label them x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we substitute them. So I remember one of the key things here when you're using the slope formula, make sure you always have a minus. Use parentheses if you need to, your call. All right, so we have -3 minus 9 in the numerator, and that's divided by -5 minus -7. All right, time to simplify. -3 minus 9, or -3 plus -9 is -12. Divided by, subtracting is the same as adding the opposite, so -5 plus 7 is 2, and that gives me -6. So my slope, we use the variable m, is -6. All right, step 2. We have a point, we have a slope. Now we had 2 points to choose from. I chose -7, 9. Why? Just because. Okay, so I have -7, 9, I have a slope of -6, and we substitute that into y equals mx plus b. Here we go. After you substitute it, -6 times -7, that part right there, gives me positive 42, and I have to solve for b, so we subtract 42 from each side, and we get that the y-intercept is -33. Okay, it's important, but it's not the final answer. We have to take the y-intercept and we have to take the slope, and we write our answer. So that's my final answer. Y equals -6x minus 33. I should check it, so I can substitute. A quick thing you could do is just substitute -7 and see if you get 9. Then substitute -5, see if you get 9. I decided to graph. So I use decimals here, and you can see that my line hits both of the points that I wanted. Okay, and that line is, I'm going to try writing this sideways. That line is y equals -6x minus 33. Sideways was a bad choice. All right. But the point is that it hits what we needed to do. All right, here's what I want you to try. Now, what if you decided to go with the point -5, -3? Okay, that's our or statement of the day. So what if you said, hey, I'm going to not use the points that were used previously. I'm going to use -5 and -3. I'm going to make that my x and y. The slope, you have no choice. You have to use -6 for slope. And why don't you pause the video right here and substitute those into y equals mx plus b, solve for b, and then see if our answers compare. I'll give you a second to pause, try it on your own. On pause when you're done. Here's the work. And as you notice, you get the same value for the y-intercept, which is b. Okay, so it really doesn't matter which of the 2 points you pick to get the equation.